and welcome back to the GOM TV 2008 Averatec-Intel Classic. This is Nick Tasteless Plot, broadcasting to you from Seoul, Korea, the motherland of esports. We've had a really great event so far. This is Season 1 of the Averatec-Intel Classic, and it has been a very exciting one at that. We have a lot of fans now gathering back into the studio area to continue to watch this exciting event unfold. A lot of people showed up here early just to try to get good seats in the front. A lot of fans for these four players that we're going to be watching today. Our next match coming up is going to be Flash versus sAviOr. Flash, of course, probably the most popular StarCraft player around right now. He's the StarCraft player everybody's talking about. The Terran player who is, I believe, the youngest big-time pro gamer on the scene right now at the age of 15, and he is probably the best Terran alive right now. Flash is a very intimidating Terran, a Terran who has walked over some of the greatest players out there and making it look easy, to be honest. I cannot believe what a powerhouse player this person is, and what better person for him to face than the monster sAviOr. sAviOr is somebody who is just, historically, he's a beast. He's somebody who has taken out and won so many OSLs and MSLs. He's got a lot of Star Leagues under his belt, and he's in a bit of a slump right now, but that does not mean that sAviOr cannot come back. In fact, I would go so far to say that if there was one player who could manage to come back and win, and start dominating the entire StarCraft scene again, it would be the player sAviOr. So I'm really interested to see how he's going to do this game. The last time these guys faced on the GOM TV player was I believe, in Group A of the GSI, where sAviOr was dominating Flash with ease, and then in what looked like a miracle, suddenly Flash started to come back after sAviOr threw away too many of his Guardians and did not have enough scores to support the Vessel Eraser move, where you irradiate your own vessels and then proceed to erase most of the Zerg units that are on the screen with them. And then suddenly Flash managed to come back, maintain map control, and win the entire series. And I could not even... I could not even believe my eyes when I was casting the game, and you could see that sAviOr was absolutely frustrated, and this is now his chance to try to come back and take on Flash. There they are, Flash on the left, sAviOr on the right. Flash, in fact, ahead of sAviOr in the KESPA rating system. Both players getting organized, making sure the keyboard's in the right place. Looks like sAviOr's really trying hard to concentrate and get his game plan organized in his head. A lot of pressure on both of these people. People have been sitting back here waiting, especially the foreigner community who's very fond of sAviOr. People have been waiting for this guy to kind of come back and start dominating again. He's had several months where he's just been off, just straight up off in his normal gameplay. So, in a few moments, we're going to kind of go over the maps and things like that. Again, I hope everybody's watching at TeamLiquid.net and Gosha Gamers. I know we had a lot of people watching from Pure Ponage last time. That's a great site as well. I hope you guys are tuning in too. And again, everybody who's been supporting esports, it's very exciting to finally have English commentary of StarCraft matches being broadcasted internationally. Finally, we're kind of getting to see real esport games, not random new games that esport events are kind of pulling off the shelves to try to fill in their tournaments. Instead, we're starting to see some more support for real, true competitive games that have all the elements that make them sports. So it's very exciting. Again, new maps in this tournament. KESPA has released new maps, which we are now using in this event. The listing of those maps are Othello, Colosseum, and the next map actually has two names. Some people call it Wuthering Heights, and other people call it Hills of Storm. And finally, we have Andromeda. All very new maps, very interesting too. I'm curious to see how these two players are going to play on these maps. KESPA circulates new maps constantly in their events to keep the games new, to keep the metagame constantly changing in StarCraft. This is easily the most advanced and challenging esport game that is around today. And anybody who is going to get to the level of these players deserves the utmost respect. You just do not have any other game that is anywhere near as competitive or as intense or as challenging as this game. So I believe we're going to transition to the next phase of this cast very soon here. Sit tight and enjoy. No, actually, I guess we have a few more minutes. Excuse me. So here we go. Flash is getting prepared. So is sAviOr. We're going to talk about the player stats in just a little bit. This is GOM TV, the same people that brought you the GSI, a very successful event that had over 1 million unique hits on the English website alone. An event that is really starting to show that it's not just Koreans who like StarCraft, it's people everywhere. And how could you not? It's the best RTS game ever made. StarCraft 2 coming out here pretty soon. I'm excited to see what kind of game that is going to be as well. Thank you again to Averatec-Intel for sponsoring this event and always sponsoring esports in general. I know I've casted a countless esports events where Intel is always one of the sponsors at least. And in this case, I'm happy to say they're the main sponsor, which is very exciting. Intel Averatec is the #1 selling PC in Asia, and that's no small feat, obviously. I see that Flash has joined the game, and actually, now I see that sAviOr's joined the game too. Both saying hi to each other, a little bit of small talk before the game. Even though these players had to play against each other, and it is very competitive all the time, most of them do get along pretty well. And I believe, from what I understand, almost all the players around here do like Flash a lot. He's a pretty charming kid. Again, only 15, 17 years old, Korean age. But man, I don't even want to know. Actually, I do want to know what his brain looks like. I mean, clearly he's just a genius if he's going to be that good at this game that is that challenging at such a young age. He's only been playing for 3 years. He started playing when he was 12, and I have to say, he is phenomenal. sAviOr, of course, nicknamed the Maestro for his total control of the Zerg race. The fact that he can have so many things going on at once, he makes it look easy when in fact it is very hard. And has very, very intimidating Mutalisk micro and lurker traps as well.
GG Sambo Intel Classic.
Ma Jae-yoon fans here. That is the actual Korean name of sAviOr. Looking on the screen, we can see that here is Flash over here at the bottom left of the map, and at the top left is sAviOr. Flash, sAviOr, two monster players. I've casted many of their games before, and I can say that I have casted both of them winning at least one major tournament. I do remember casting sAviOr winning BlizzCon in California, and I casted Flash winning the GSI only a few weeks ago. StarCraft players all over the world have spent time studying these gods of the game, these people that understand the game so well inside and out. And here they are battling it out today. Most of the early game build is very calculated, very precise. We'll see a supply depot on 9 for the Terran, followed by a barracks. Now from there we could see a possible expo, or we could see an additional barracks added. For the Zerg, we're either going to see a spawning pool or a hatchery first. Note the positioning of that depot does force the SCV to mine a little bit more efficiently. Otherwise, the SCV tends to zigzag a little bit because the pathfinding in StarCraft is not the best. They don't always follow straight lines, and that's just another thing about this game that makes it so interesting. Is that there's so many little secrets within the game that can help you gain an advantage. And these people, they have books in their minds filled with those secrets they can use to utilize every aspect of StarCraft. Hatchery first. He is at somewhat of a risk for a bunker rush. But bunker rushing sAviOr is not easy, to put it simply. Not to mention, I don't think a bunker rush is too likely on this map. At least not with the barracks position there. So sAviOr going for a pretty safe, standard, fast hatchery. And we can see now that Flash has scouted him and is now peeking around. Note that Flash did scout pretty early, though, with that SCV. And it looks like, in fact, Flash will go for the fast command center. SCV versus... Look at that drone micro, though. In fact, maybe the drone will win this. Normally, the SCV always beats the drone, but when you're Maj at you and your drones are on steroids, never mind, though. He did manage to take out that drone. Anything you can possibly do to get ahead of your opponent, little things like that really do help. Delaying the building of the command center is just one of those things. Flash continuing to scout his opponent. He wants to see if he's going to get the Vespian gas or the third hatchery next. 6 Zerglings out. That usually means he's going to try to push in here with some kind of a rush. Very interesting. And a bunker is already being set up, but is it going to get there in time? If the Zerg had made 4 Zerglings, we could assume that there was not going to be some type of a rush, but he will indeed be very aggressive with this. Zergling's now on the move. The bunker has been placed, but the Zerglings could run right by it. He looks like with the Overlord spotting the bunker, he's decided instead to back off. And, oh, this is the Tasteless cam, I guess. We're getting a shot of me over here. This has turned out to be a very exciting game. I don't really know who's going to be winning, to be honest. But we'll find out soon enough. So, third hatch before the layer. Second barracks now. And the Vespian gas is being taken. So, I don't know. It looks like it's going to be a pretty passive game at the start, at least. I believe that sAviOr backed off with those 6 lings after he saw the bunker was indeed built. He realized he did force his opponent to spend that additional 100 minerals. He might as well just back off now. Now, it looks like Flash is moving forward with these Marines. Normally, this is a technique used by Terran players to try to force the Zerg into making a few additional sunken colonies prematurely rather than letting the Zerg sit back and become comfortable. However, you have to be very careful because if the Zerg has too many Zerglings, you kind of just end up getting run over and you make an ass out of yourself, so you don't want to do that either. It looks like instead he's decided to back off, reconsidering how many Zerglings were out there. This Overlord strategically positioned over this point, so sAviOr can watch ever so carefully as to when the Marines are leaving the base, when they're going back in. This is one of the things that Zerg has to do. Zerg players are always putting their Overlords in very specific locations so that they can have as much intelligence as possible about what's going on. And the Spire is the tech pattern of choice rather than the Hydralisk Den for the Lurkers. So instead we will see some very, very scary sAviOr Mutalisk harassment. And he has decided to unload those Marines and the 2 medics. But be careful because sAviOr does have speedlings. He could very easily sneak in there. The sneaky sAviOr that he is. And I believe the positioning of those Zerglings is going to make it almost impossible for Flash to move forward any further. He does not want to give up any opportunity to be defensive. He doesn't want to let those Zerglings inside of his base. Now the Sunks are coming up. Looks like sAviOr may attempt to go around, or he may try to go inside of his opponent's base. Scanning, spotting the Spire, which is about to finish. So did the 2 Sunks. Sunken colonies. For those people who criticize me when I don't say it perfectly. We will see 9 Mutalisks now coming out. And the Hydralisk Den to follow up with that. So he's going to use 9 Mutalisks, possibly a few more to do some harassment while he then techs to Lurkers. Look at those Flash fingers go. He does look a lot older than 15 when you actually really take a look at him. Looks like Flash did manage to pick off one Overlord, but he's going to have to get back to his base pretty fast as these Mutalisks are now out on the move. And there's nothing more dangerous than sAviOr Mutalisk harassment. Last time I saw these two play, when I was casting them, sAviOr's Mutalisk picked Flash apart. Now he's going to group one of these Mutalisks with an Overlord back in his base so that the Mutalisks clump on top of each other, making it very, very difficult. And it looks like now he will get these Mutalisks and Zerglings ready and possibly come in here and try to take out the entire group. Not entirely sure. Here he comes now, moving in with those Zerglings and Mutalisks. And while he will take that out with complete and total ease and even use this drone to expand. A blunder by Flash. It was not worth it to move out there and take out that Overlord. He has lost a chunk of his army that cannot be as easily replenished as those Zerglings which sAviOr lost. Meanwhile, we can already tell that sAviOr's teching, lurkers, which will then be used to defend that expansion. Here he comes now, going to try to pick off a few stray Marines. But he has to be very careful not to engage an entire Marine clump. So he's going to try to move in over here, but there are already two turrets up here. And he did manage to take that out. But at what cost? He didn't really make any penetration there. Drones now coming over here to get ready to mine this expansion. It looks like Flash's tower positioning is actually very, very good. And I don't think sAviOr's Mutalisks are actually going to be able to get in here. But here he comes with a few Zerglings. And he will be able to take out this bunker. Removing that static defense that makes it that much easier for the... Oh, and here he comes once again, taking out another Marine. So far he's done a very good job, although, the Overlord. That's the real sad story here, is what happened to that Overlord, who just wanted to watch a casualty of war. Here comes some lurkers now. And he could creep into his opponent's base by leapfrogging these lurkers. He can come on here and assassinate these tanks if he does it right, and he has not managed to do so. He did take them both down to half health. And the vessels will come out soon, making the Mutalisks not so useful. Now we continue to see these Mutalisks move around the map, but once the vessel comes out, Irradiate will be a very logical option for Flash to tech to. Irradiate, very dangerous against clumped Mutalisks. Hive, very early. Guardians, possibly, or Fast Defilers. Both of which are very deadly. sAviOr's constantly repositioning his lurker contain. Not so much of a contain as I would say it's a control point, since Terran can go in other directions. It seems that Kesper really likes these new maps that have a lot of different back doors to move around, and we see that he's scanned that location. He knows that the lurkers are there. sAviOr may have to move the lurker positioning to another spot. That is a lot of units that Flash has macroed up. Unbelievable. And he is now moving up, but there's another lurker trap waiting him up here. And whoa, and Irradiate on the Mutalisk. He's going to have to split the Mutalisk. He can't do it. They're all trapped. Now got it, burn. Takes out those two lurkers. And wow, he has a lot of units. So I'm curious if sAviOr's going to go for a counterattack or if sAviOr's going to engage this army directly. Flash has a very sizable army despite that blunder early on, and it looks like he will in fact go for a counterattack. And 3 bunkers could very easily hold off that counterattack, I think, but it's very difficult to say. And in this case, it looks like sAviOr is aware of that and will now attempt to go around. Sunken colonies being thrown up in an attempt to delay the penetration of his base. sAviOr knows the clock is ticking, and here he comes now from all sides, brewing lurkers. And it looks like, will it be effective? It's unclear. Yes, and in fact, it's been very effective. sAviOr's Mutalisks can very easily take out the remainder of these forces. Looks like he could not quite make up his mind there, though, as to whether or not he wanted that vessel or the tanks. And sAviOr has lost a little bit more lurkers than we would have expected. Flash now a bit uncomfortable. Had Flash managed to save that small grip of Medic Marine at the start, it might have been a different story. Here comes some more of Flash's troops moving up, and another good irradiate! Carefully split apart. Well done, sAviOr. There's nothing more difficult than trying to pick out the right Mutalisk that has been irradiated out of a group of, 9 or 12. Nidus Canal at that expansion. He may be able to reinforce that. I don't know if he has defilers out yet, but if he can get some defilers out, it could mean that he will be able to save this expansion, but whoa! Okay, so here he comes now. Moving on to this hatchery. Nidus Canal's almost finished over here. Defiler Mound is up, but I do not see where sAviOr's army is. Oh, sAviOr is starting to become very sloppy. Flash macroing at the speed of light. A Dark Swarm has been thrown down, but this is all wrong. The Defiler has been picked off, and another one is now attempting to gain control here, but one lurker is probably not going to be enough. The lurker, of course, does not take damage under the Dark Swarm, but it's only a matter of time as Flash's army is continuing to grow, and this is why he is such a scary player. It looked like what was already 2 blunders for Flash is already beginning to turn around as he has such a large army. Here come the lurkers now, though, burrowing. They might be able to take out these siege tanks. A few more lurkers coming in from the top. And he has really pushed Flash back. 1-1 upgrades for the Marines. I can see the upgrades now. They did fix the monitor. We haven't seen more Scourge from sAviOr just to try to pick off these vessels, and another Shadow Overlord goes straight to him. And here comes some more of sAviOr units moving in here now, and it looks like the lurkers are going to burrow, and a very good lurker shot manages to take out a majority of those Marines. But the hatchery over the expansion has been destroyed. Another drone on the way. Either that or he's lost. And sAviOr's already expanded to the bottom right as well. And this will mean an irradiate for the Defiler. Oh, but Plagued Marines. I'm curious if Flash is going to back off now, or if he's going to let his medic energy be exhausted. To the game. We can see that more vessels are being pumped out, and a command center is being taken at the double Vespian Gas Geyser Expo. Flash, even though he's not managed to take out the expansion of the top right, definitely is starting to regain his ground as his army is just starting to outgrow his opponent. +2 carapace for the Zerg. And a Scourge. Nice try, Scourge. No one's that good. And it looks like Flash has spotted the bottom right expansion. This is going to be taken out with ease. Stimming. And now going in here for... Oh, but there is a Nidus. Whoa! Taking out a vessel. And it looks like both players took serious damage there. But the Nidus Canal of the expansion has been taken out, so there's no way this expansion will be saved. Sorry, drones. Here come the double dropships into the main. We did not see that before. And they're going to go right for those evolution chambers, which are upgrading for the Zerg. And, whoa, one Scorch manages to hit the dropship, but the other one wussed out and backed off. I don't know what his deal was. But this evolution chamber will be taken out as well. Everything is starting to fall apart for sAviOr. As Flash is just outmassing his opponent. Upgrades are going to be behind. I believe that we will see Flash. If he's not already at 2-2, we'll see that very soon. And I think a faster 3-3 than sAviOr would like to see is going to come up very soon as well. And wow, okay, so the question is, can sAviOr hang on to this expansion at the bottom, or top right, excuse me. Irradiated lurkers. He does have a good Dark Swarm, though, in this location here. He's going to burrow this one lurker before it dies. And no, it's too late. It has been killed. The Defiler's been taken out. And this expansion will be destroyed. Wow, Flash is in total control of this game. It looked like sAviOr was doing really, really well at the start, and now sAviOr has been beat down into a corner. He's against the rings. And wow, we got 2-2 attack over here for the Marines. sAviOr attempting to gain some ground here, but it looks like his units are just too spread out. Like, what on earth is this Defiler doing here? You should have stayed at home, buddy. Oh, but a nice flag. I'm not sure if it's going to be enough to really matter. Flash just has too much of the map. This is just ridiculous. This is just out of control. I'm kind of casting this game with my jaw dropped the entire time, looking at how much Flash is actually gaining. He's just outproducing him in every way possible. Two drops over here at the expansion, and attacks on both sides. And he's even rushing in here towards these lurkers. But wow, nice lurker shots taking these out. And if he can get a Dark Swarm up, and yes, he has, he might be able to hold out both the Flash's attacks at the same time. They could snipe that Defiler, but nope, the Defiler goes and hides. Unfortunately, there's too many vessels in the game now, and it doesn't look like sAviOr can actually catch back up. The vessels can just keep irradiating the individual lurkers and Defilers, and it just becomes this downward spiral for the Zerg player sAviOr. And I would expect, as Flash walks over this expansion, which has been the key focus of this entire game, this expansion over here at the top right, I think we're going to see GG very soon. My God, does Flash make a lot of units. The lights in the barracks never turn off. They're on 24 hours a day. Go there anytime, and there are Marines making. sAviOr going to move in here, attempt to gain some more ground so we can re-expand to that expansion, but I just don't know what sAviOr can do right now other than do everything or focus all of his attention on this expansion over here at the top right while Flash continues to engulf the entire map in his command centers surrounded by Marines and medics and tanks and dropships and vessels and I'm curious if sAviOr is actually aware of just how many expansions his opponent has. I will admit, though, sAviOr, he's doing a good job of, staying alive in this game. Here come some more lurkers to try to come in here. It's just, wow. Gosh, this is kind of painful to watch. I think he's going to make another command center. All right. A few more irradiates on the lurkers as they attempt to go into battle and get underneath this Dark Swarm. And wow. The hatchery is still continuing to produce, but it's just like it doesn't seem to matter. More dropships are probably going to come into the main of sAviOr to draw some attention away while he continues to push over here. I really cannot believe, though, how well sAviOr is just hanging on this game. And I think we're going to see another massive radiant here very soon. And it will be on you, Defiler. Unfortunately, whether or not the hatchery finishes, it will not serve any utility in this game. And here comes some more Zerglings, but the position of the medics with the fire bat makes me think that this is not going to turn out well for him, and wow. And the hatchery completes and then gets destroyed. Ooh. Man. Alright, there's one more expansion that's being thrown up over here. I'm not sure if how close to exhausting these expansions sAviOr, Flash is, but I do know that it's going to be very difficult for any possible recovery to occur on sAviOr's point. He is doing a decent job of holding this off. As we can see here, he is going to take out a few more of these medic marine, but it looks like it's about to be regrouped with Okay, here we go. I think the dropships are going to go towards the main. Vessel's going to come up here, do a mass irradiate, then try to push in and break this containment. Here come a bunch of vessels. Flash's favorite one got the special defensive matrix on it. And I believe he's going to then take out the Ultralisk dead and systematically pick off all the tech buildings. Here come a few Ultralisks, but they do not have the speed upgrade. And it looks like the medic marine should be able to take them out pretty easily. Maybe not, since the fire bats are off doing their own thing. And here come some more vessels. And I think we could see Flash do just about anything right now, because he's winning this game so badly. And a few more Zerlings with the adrenal upgrade will come in here now. Irradiated U2 Ultralisk. sAviOr has finally managed to hold off that attack, but it looks like sAviOr knows what's going on and finally decides to concede in what was a very awesome game where Flash simply out-macroed his opponent. Flash is a player that can just produce so many units that even though he's making a few blunders like we saw there, in the end he just outproduced him. There were just too many units, and sAviOr eventually got swallowed up in Flash's macro. Very impressive game. Flash is a very intimidating opponent. I'm curious as to how sAviOr will adjust in these upcoming games. We are not done with the series yet. Flash is up 1-0, but that does not mean that sAviOr cannot come back and make it out of this little bout that they are in. But it's going to be tough. They really get much better than Flash right now. I see the Flash has joined the game. I think sAviOr's probably rewatching the replay. That might be a pretty painful replay to watch again. Flash may be going for a restroom break too until we get back. Wow, really impressive game. So the winner of these two is going to be playing mine. This is Flash versus sAviOr. Flash, probably the best Terran alive right now. Not that there are a bunch of good Terran players that are dead or anything like that, but the point being, Flash is the best Terran around. sAviOr, at one point in time, the best player in the world, has a lot of Star Leagues under his belt. And now he's in a bit of a slump in the past few months. Things are really starting to change as the metagame of StarCraft is evolving, and people are waiting for him to make a comeback. He could do it now. He's down one game against Flash. You have to win two for that to happen. Until then, we're going to sit back and wait and watch. Here we see our three Korean casters. There's Grimto on the right. He's my bro. And